What's up? I'm Natasha, your host, and you are watching Unapologetic Living. And today's episode is all about 5 ways to avoid false emergencies. Yes, hashtag it can wait. Let's go. So I don't know if you ever heard of the term urgent culture, but urgent culture is all about this type of culture that's created this mindset that you have to finish, complete, start, respond to everything immediately. Like everything is an emergency. And if you don't complete something right away, if you don't do something right away, then it's going to be this big to do or negative outcome that's going to happen as a result of you not responding right away. People are going to be mad at you. People are going to judge you. Things are not going to get done. You're not going to accomplish your goals. All of the things, all this stress, this anxiety that it causes because it's saying that everything has to be done right now. Anybody else's requests has to be responded to right now. Now let's think about this. Can everything be done right away? Can everything be handled as an emergency? Matter of fact, is everything really an emergency? No. No, it's not. But I know for me, I have been victim to urgent culture. I'll admit it. Yes, I'll admit it. There are times where I would be doing something and another thought would come up and I would think, oh my goodness, wait, I gotta do that. And before I know it, I'm no longer doing the task I was doing. I stopped and I jumped to a whole nother task because this new task that I just remembered about has to get done now because if it doesn't get done now, it's never going to get done. I do that and then I never get back to the other task, or I get back to the other task and now I finish the other task later than I planned to. Is that you? Put a comment in the chat. I don't know. Hit me up. Send me a message like, yes, Natasha, you are not alone. I'm with you. Please don't leave me hanging. Don't let me be the only one that runs into this problem. Or the urgency of I need to respond to emails because I don't want this person thinking that I don't check my emails or that I don't find this topic or this issue important. So let me just respond. Again, making something an emergency that's not. Or how often or how many times, or if you have ever experienced a time where you have made somebody else's emergency your emergency. Somebody comes to you frantic, upset, in a panic, a to do, right, about a situation. They're coming to you for help. And before you know it, their emergency now becomes yours. It wasn't even something that you were even planning on doing with your day, taking on. You've now made it your responsibility. Now their problem is your problem. And then you look back like, how did I even get in this? How did this become my problem? Right? Urgent culture. That's how. Urgent culture. When we make false emergencies that are really not an emergency, we make false emergencies true emergencies, we then end up, one, burning ourselves out. We then end up taking on responsibility that's not really ours. We make things a priority that's really not a priority. And that's how that work-life balance becomes imbalance. That's how burnout, emotional and physical, exists. And that's how self-care becomes an afterthought all the way in the back, like way back there. Yeah, yeah. And so today I want to help you cancel all of that. Cancel urgent culture. We're canceling urgent culture. X, yeah, all of that. What's the emoji? The emoji that's like that? Yes, yes. All of that. Because it's time to bring balance to your life. It's time to make real priorities priorities. It's time to put yourself first because more than likely, this sense of urgency is causing you to put yourself last and things that truly are important to you, that are really a priority for your life, and in order for you to show up as your best self, becoming last. So let's just pause real quick, right? Because I was going to cut this out, but I was thinking this is too on point. while I'm speaking about urgent culture and how the phones are ringing, it makes you feel like you need to answer now. My phone begins to ring while I'm recording, y'all. Yes. And it was my sister, and I immediately was thinking, well, I probably should answer it. And like, no, I'm recording. I cannot answer right now. It can wait. And so I removed the phone so it doesn't distract me and also you can hear it. But then when I dropped it, it made a crazy thud sound, which I knew recorded. So that's why I'm dying laughing because the whole thing is hilarious, y'all. Like super hilarious. But at least I was able to model in the moment how you can make something wait. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about 5 ways to avoid false emergencies. First one. First way to avoid it is make your self-care sacred. I mentioned earlier about how a lot of times our self-care can become an afterthought. False emergencies is one of the barriers to that. Because you may have actually had your self-care scheduled or planned, right? And then somebody else comes to you with a problem or something pops up in your life and immediately you perceive it as an emergency or the person is presenting it as an emergency and then you drop everything for that person or for the situation and then self-care is already forgotten about. Or you have a list of things to do, that to-do list, that to-do list. You have that to-do list and you've told yourself, I'm not allowed to engage in anything fun, anything that requires that it connects to self-care until all these things are done on my list. Or if you said to yourself, everything on this list has to be done today. And then before you know it, you don't have anything left to do. Any other time. You don't have any other time. You don't have no more time left to do anything else. And you're burnt out. Or the last bit of time you have left after helping somebody else or taking care of that to-do list is bedtime. And by that time you're worn out. You just want to go to bed. You're done. You're burnt. Motivation is gone. You just want to veg out on the couch on your bed and call it a day. But when you make your self-care sacred, it's like, nope, I already planned to do this for myself and I'm doing that. And self-care, don't make it complicated. It doesn't always have to be like a spa day or getting your nails done or, exercising. It could be something as simple as putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. It could be reading a book. It could be taking a nap. It could just be sitting in silence for 10 minutes. Whatever that is, right? You honor that. I want to give you 3 questions to ask yourself. So as we're going through these 5 different ways to avoid those false emergencies, these are 3 questions you can apply to each of these situations. Is this really a true emergency? Is this something that I should be taking responsibility for? And should this become a top priority? So applying those 3 questions to making your self-care sacred. You already have your self-care plan. You already had it. You already had an idea what you wanted to do. Or maybe something that's just part of your routine, right? And this false emergency or emergency is coming up. And it's in the way. It's going to, if you end up handling this situation, right, you're going to end up not engaging in self-care. Or self-care is going to have to be moved to a different day or time, right? First thing to ask yourself, is this really an emergency? Should this become a top priority? Is this more of a priority than self-care? Does it trump my self-care? And what I need to do in order to handle the situation, is that my responsibility? The task, the responsibilities that are needed to handle the situation, are they my responsibilities? So apply those every single time. As we're going through these 5, think about those questions. Ask yourself those questions. Second way to avoid false emergencies is not making somebody else's emergency your emergency. How many times have you dropped everything for somebody else because they were in some type of need or support? How many times have you been so empathetic to somebody else's situation? They may have not even asked you for help, but the empathy that you've had for that person caused you to offer the help or take on their problem or feel the responsibility to fix their problem or provide them with the solutions or find the solutions for them. And how many of those times have you looked back, or while you were in it, you were thinking, how the heck did I get into this? How did I get in the middle of this? This is not even my problem. Many times we get stuck in other people's emergencies, or other people's emergencies become our own because we end up taking on the responsibility to fix their problem. Are you the fixer in your relationships? Boundaries. One of the boundaries is set. And if you haven't noticed, this whole video is really about boundaries. The boundaries for this situation, right? The way you can prevent making somebody else's emergency your emergency is, one, ask yourself those three questions. Is it my responsibility? Should this be a top priority? And is this a real emergency? Right? Ask yourself those three questions. If it's no to any of those, then do not make it your emergency, right? But also recognizing that just because somebody else is hurting, you can empathize without having to take on their issue. That's the boundary. Empathy just means you understand what the person's going through. You can relate. But empathy does not require, nor is empathy you taking on their problem and making it yours. That's not empathy. And so recognizing and validating their experience, for sure, you can do that. Like, wow, that must be really hard. I couldn't imagine going through that. Or I remember when I went through that. So I totally understand how hard this can be. And you can stop there. That could be enough. And if you want to offer help, right, make sure it's help that you can actually provide. Boundaries. Don't offer help that is beyond your capacity. Don't offer help that's now causing you to now take on the responsibility to fix their problem. And sometimes don't even offer the help. Sometimes we offer help and the person's not even asking for help. That's not even what they want. Sometimes we interject ourselves, giving them help, and that's not even what they want. They just want to vent. Or we're offering help because they're indirectly, passive aggressively implying that they need help, and then we just offer it and they didn't even ask for it. You wait until the person asks for help, and then through the boundaries, you determine how much of what they're asking you can actually do without taking on the responsibility of their problem. No is a complete sentence. You can also say, no, I understand what you're going through, but no, I'm not able to help you at this time. And that's okay. And that's going to connect with another one, but we're going to get to that one when it comes to saying no and setting boundaries. There's a ways to avoid certain things that will cause you to make false emergencies, true emergencies. We're going to get to that. That's going to be number 5. So just hold on to that. Stay tuned. So we talked about one way is to make your schedule, or not your schedule, make your self-care sacred. We talked about number 2, not making other people's emergencies your emergencies. And number 3 is honoring your schedule. What that means is if you already have something planned, if you already have something on your schedule, do not replace that item, that task, that event, that activity with something else that does not require or deserve to take precedent. Many times we are overbooked, overworked because we have too many things on our schedule. We're double booking ourselves. We're saying yes to things that we need to say no to. And or we don't end up getting to the things that we actually have on our schedule. So those things go on to tomorrow's schedule. Or those things that we're supposed to do in the morning now get pushed to the afternoon. And now we have double the work in the afternoon. Honor your schedule. Again, ask yourself, is this a priority that deserves to replace what I already have on my schedule? Is this a really emergency that requires me to respond right now and not do what I already have on my schedule? Is this my responsibility? If it's no to one or all three, do not replace it on your schedule. Do not use that to replace what's already on your schedule. Honor your schedule. Stick to it. If you already had a meeting scheduled at 2 or something planned at 2 and somebody comes with this like emergency, well, I need you right now, or I'm only available at 2 and then we need to meet right now. Again, ask yourself those 3 questions. And if it's no to any of those, sorry, I already have something scheduled at 2 o'clock, but I am available at whatever that time is. If that's the same day, if that's later in the week. If you notice, these boundaries are allowing you to put yourself first. These boundaries are allowing you to make what's truly a priority in your life stay a priority in your life. And it's helping you also to really assess, what am I making a priority? What is really my responsibility? Number 4. Give yourself the permission to allow wait time when it comes to responding to texts, emails, and phone calls. How often do you find yourself responding immediately when you get a text? Or feel this pressure to have to answer the phone call as soon as it rings? Or find the pressure to have to immediately respond to an email as soon as it arrives in your inbox? Remember, I talked about how the urgent culture makes it feel like it has to be responded to right now. If I don't respond right now, then all hell is going to break loose. Is it really though? Is it really? If you don't respond to that text right away, if you wait an hour because you're doing something, is that person really going to be lost without an answer from you? Does that really mean that you are not a good friend by not responding to the text? Does that really mean you ignore the person and don't care about the person? If you don't respond to that email right away and you don't respond to it until the next day, does that really mean that you are not doing your job well or don't take your work seriously? If you don't respond or answer that phone call, does that really mean that you are leaving somebody hanging that really needs you? Do you hear the emergencies within those thoughts? When it's really not an emergency. The person can wait. Wait time is okay. Now, if you have the time, the freedom to do it and respond right away, go right ahead. But if you're busy, if you don't have the time and the capacity to put in the amount of energy that's needed to respond to the email, because it looks like a short email, but then you realize, oh no, this email is going to take me a while to respond to, and I can't do that right now. Or you look at the text and you're like, oh, I already know if I text this person back, it's going to go into a full conversation. They're going to expect a back and forth dialogue. I don't have time for the back and forth dialogue. So I'll text them back when I'm able to like really have a dialogue with this person. If it's really an emergency and the person calls, won't they leave you a voice message or text and say, hey, I need you right now? So do you really have to answer it right then and there? Remember, ask yourself, is this really a true emergency? Is it my responsibility? And does this deserve to become top priority? It can wait. Number 5, the final and last one. And again, this is the one that kind of like just answers it all when it comes to boundaries. Except, this is a big one, y'all. Let me tell you. Let me tell you why this is a big one. Because I often hear this from other people when it comes to the fear of disappointing others, the fear of setting boundaries. This idea that if I say no to this person, If I don't respond to this person right away when they need me, or if I don't meet the expectation they have, they sent this email and now they're expecting me to respond right away or respond today. If I don't do these things, then I'm going to appear as a bad person. I don't want to be the bad guy. And if I say no, if I say I can't meet with you right now, but I can tomorrow, or I'm not available now, or I'm sorry, this is not my emergency, or I'm sorry, I'm not able to help you right now, then that's rude. Then I feel so guilty. Like that's so mean. But is it really? Again, this urgent culture has caused us to believe that setting boundaries leads to you being a mean, bad person. Saying no is not what kind people do, is what the urgent culture is saying. Not responding right away is not what a responsible person does. I will be irresponsible if I don't respond right away. But really? So a way to avoid all that, number 5, the way to avoid all that is to accept that you can be good, nice, and responsible and set boundaries. Yes, in this situation, you can have it all. This is one of those things. Yes, you can have your cake and you can eat it too. Yummy, yummy to the tummy. Yes. You are still a good person if you say no. You are still a responsible person if you don't respond right away. You are still a nice person if you don't help the person out. If you are not available to help the person out. All of those things are true. You are still good, you are still kind, and you are still responsible. And I'm even going to add another one. You are still dependable. Accept that to be true. When you allow yourself to accept that that statement is true, I am a kind person. I am a good person. I'm a responsible person. I am a dependable person, even when I set boundaries. That mindset shift is life-changing because it will free you from this pressure of having to show up for everybody on their time. That's what the urgent culture is causing you to feel like. You got to respond to everything on everybody else's time. Or you got to complete things immediately or it's not going to get done. When if you recognize that you're a responsible person, if you recognize that you are someone that's dependable, you know it's going to get done. You know that you will help somebody. You will help somebody when you have the capacity. You know that you're empathetic and you're kind and you're still a good person, regardless of if you say no or not right now, or it can wait. So let's do a recap. 5 ways. 5 ways to avoid false emergencies. Hashtag it can wait. That could be your mantra. Listen, not that can. That is your mantra for this week. It can wait. And the declaration is, I am a good person. I am a responsible person. I am a dependable person. I am a kind person when I set boundaries. Five ways to make sure that that's going to help you believe that declaration and believe that mantra. 1, make self-care sacred. 2, honoring your schedule. 3, not making other people's emergencies your emergency. 4, giving yourself the permission to allow wait time when responding to texts, emails, and phone calls. And number 5, accepting a declaration. Accepting that you are still a kind, good, responsible, dependable person, and you set boundaries. You're still all that when you set boundaries. You are that and you set boundaries. Yes. So if you enjoy this video and you're like, Natasha, listen, I vibing from all of this. And you're like, I would love to work with you. I want to learn more about how to set these boundaries. Then work with me. Take advantage of the free consultation I offer for my coaching services so that I can get a bit more information about you, learn more about what you're looking for in coaching, make sure that we're a good fit. You could do that by going to the website below. This link is also available in the show notes. And so if you're thinking, well, how do I know if this coaching is for me? Well, listen, if you're like, Natasha, this whole avoiding these false emergencies, listen, I want to I want to get better at that because high achieving, overachieving causes me to want to have to get or making myself feel the pressure I have to get everything done right now. Imposter syndrome is causing me to not set boundaries or respond to emails right away because I don't want people to think that I'm not competent or I don't know what I'm doing. This sense of people pleasing is causing me to be the fixer in other people's situations, or they feel like this obligation to help people. And I just want to be able to be free from all of that or any of that so that I can really show up as my best self, so I can start putting myself first, so I can make what's really a priority. I can get rid of this anxiety that I feel, the pressure that I feel to show up a certain way. Listen, any of that, that's a reason to start my coaching services. So again, click the link in the show notes. It's right here too, to fill out the coaching inquiry form so that I can schedule with you a free consultation for 15 minutes so we can talk a little bit about what that could possibly look like and make sure that I'm a good fit for you, you're a good fit for me, and then we can just start those services. I have a program and I have individual services. So if you want to be part of the program, which is all about helping you, teaching you specific skills around really going after your career goals. So maybe you've been wanting to be an author. You have been wanting to change your career, but there has been this hesitation, this fear of actually going after it. This dream you've been having for the longest to start your own business or to go in a different field, but the hesitation, the fear, the doubt has been holding you back. The fear of scarcity, the fear of it not working out. Then my coaching program is perfect for you. But if you're more so just wanting to just have someone to talk to about just life in general and how to deal with different stressors and stress management and learning assertive communication skills, things like that, relational issues that you want to be able to figure out how to deal with in a more confident, assertive way, maybe build yourself a self-confidence, then my one-on-one coaching can be great for you as well. So you go to our website, speakliketransformation.com, to learn more about those services. That's in the link as well, the show notes as well. But if you already know, like, listen, I don't even need to look, like, I'm ready, sign me, like, schedule me in for a free consultation, then click the inquiry link in the show notes as well so we can schedule some great services and get started. As always, as I say, until I see you again, make sure you be bold, be safe, and speak life.